Amazing. Hi, everybody. Only 15 minutes late on the start, but we're in perfectly good shape. First, wake up, everyone. We're here. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to Concordia University and our symposium on experiencing stories with/in digital games as part of the 24th edition of the Entretiens Jacques Cartier, kicking off this weekend in Montreal. So my name is Bart Simon, and I'm the director of the Concordia Research Center for Technoculture, Art, and Games, and a member of the organizing committee for this event. My comments here are going to be super brief because we have a lot to get into, but my job is to establish the reason why we're all here and perhaps foreshadow a little bit about what's going to happen, as well as deal with logistics as best I can throughout the day. So thank you all for coming. It's amazing to see so many people eager to give up their Saturday to be here, and more will be rolling in. We have an absolutely full house in terms of registration. We had to shut off registration because of fire code. So we'll be full by the end of the day, which is absolutely stupendous. And it's true, we have a long and intense day ahead of us, but the hope is that we've brought together just the right eclectic mix of speakers and audience members, and that you'll be able to go away at 9 p.m., yes, 9 p.m., with your head still buzzing from all the perspectives, ideas, and conversations that might be laid out here. Yeah, 9 to 9, a mere 12 hours. Well, you know, that's some pretty slim playtime as far as game industry standards go, so you should all have no problem. Consider this to be close to a 250-person raid. If you all do your jobs and are orderly and do what you're told, no one will get hurt here today, and we'll get through by 9 p.m. So let us start with thanks for what we are about to receive, because that's the first important job. First, to our speakers who've been so gracious with their time and willingness to actually go for our plan, and especially David Cage for agreeing to be our keynote this evening. And on the organizational side, I have to thank Alan Bidot and the EJC staff for their support of our symposium and our European speakers. More thanks to the Office of Research and the Faculty of Fine Arts at Concordia University for further support for our North American speakers, on-site organization, and translation. And also thanks to the Grand NCE, a national research network in graphics, animation, and new media, for helping to fund our reception this evening. Shout out also to IGDA Montreal for being enthusiastic and actually getting the word out. It's amazing if we connect with them how fast we can fill a room. And I'd also like to acknowledge our organizing committee. This is hardly just a Concordia affair, and we could not put this together without the help of our French co-organizers, Ludovic Noël, Eric Galin, Sébastien Genvaux, and in Montreal, from Concordia, myself, Lynn Hughes, and Darren Werschler, and from University of Montreal, Bernard Perron. And we owe a special thanks to Jason Della Rocca, who's continuing to prove to be a master, absolute master of straddling the worlds of academia and the development community. The bulk of the organizational thanks, though, goes immediately to Lise Larose and the faculty at the Faculty of Fine Arts, and Laura Dana Carbone, Hospitality Concordia. Whatever works, it's because of them. Whatever's broken, it's because of me. So enough thanks. You're all here at the behest of our Research Center for Technoculture, Art, and Games. So I get to take another moment to invite everyone to check out the developing website for the center and our activities, which are accumulating faster than we even have the ability to report, which should in fact force you to come by for every week on Wednesdays. We have a Sanka set, share a beer with us, talk, and play some games. A group of faculty and students at Concordia started TAG on a whim and a belief that talk was cheap when it came to arguments that digital games have become critically important cultural medium, at least, critically important cultural medium for our current times. That academia has lagged behind industry and even everyday players and fans in seeking to understand the cultural significance of video games is an understatement. University-based games research and game culture research is still very new. And even more so when we consider how few of the most notable game research centers have taken shape in the context of a liberal arts university like Concordia. Of course, the game industry has had fruitful relationships with technical and design schools and university departments of computer science, engineering, and design. But the benefits of communication and collaboration between developers and humanities and social science scholars has still to be realized. Well, we take that as a starting point for TAG. First, by bringing together faculty and students from the humanities and social sciences with arts and design and computer science. And game making, as you all know, is already a highly interdisciplinary, much like this is. Game studying is simply following suit. For us, however, new models of research are also new models of creation, and the idea is not simply to have some people make games and other people study them. The idea is that studying and making, or research and creation, are co-productive of both interesting new insights and important new artifacts. Even further, though, is the stupid conceit that the ideal form of this practice of research creation, as we call it, should take place behind the walls of a university. New insights and new artifacts come hand in hand with new communities of people. In principle, it shouldn't matter where they are from. So we are concerned to be out and about, trying to hatch projects with and around games with anyone with an ounce of spare time and a desire to try something different. If university-based research creation is anything at all, it is about creating low-risk spaces and communities where failure, experimentation, innovation are both tolerated and encouraged. Of course, that is always under threat, and it needs to be continually justified, but everyone, from professional game designers to researchers to everyday players, agree that it's essential if games are to develop as a cultural medium. So TAG has been created to address this issue, and this symposium has been created to play again with the idea of bringing academics and developers together for another crack at the can on a topic of mutual interest: narrative and video games. It's been tried before. Jason De La Rocca must have 1,000 stories about the abilities of academics and developers to mutually agree to disagree. Oh, the developers say, all the academics want is industry money. Oh, the academics say, all the developers want is to make more money. Now, these are polite ways of, in fact, saying, we don't understand a word that you're saying. Or worse, we actually don't care about what you're saying. Let me say first that our solution to this problem of communicative failure is not going to be a group hug. It is instead the idea that no matter what our perspectives are, we still more or less share a common object. And that is the video games themselves. Not games in general, but actual specific games. If we ask everyone to talk less about themselves and their own communities and more about the games we can share and experience in common, then we might get somewhere in generating questions and matters of mutual relevance. Well, that's the high idea, talk about games. For academics, it may mean shifting more carefully between concreteness and abstraction, taking less for granted and finding new languages for representing ideas. For developers and designers, it may mean getting out from behind the screen, adopting the less privileged perspective of the player and not worrying about purely industry standards for success and failure. We do not do postmortems here, if you thought you were coming to see postmortems of these games. And if we did do postmortems, we would need to invent that tired industry dog and pony show for this new, more integrated research creation community. Matters of mutual concern, that is what we are after. So in the spirit of the thing, that's the spirit of the thing. 4 games, 4 panels, each panel, 3 go in, 1 comes out. No, just kidding. In the end, David Cage gets the last word. Panelists will give short talks. I've reminded them of that. Okay. They're allowed to riff off one another, to engage one another. We encourage that. And there should be time in each panel for questions and discussions from you all at the end. And we have 2 mics, 1 in each aisle, so the way it's going to work for this huge audience, you're going to have to walk up and out to the mic to hold your discussion. But that's fine. And we'll try to keep things humming because we have a lot of stuff to do as best we can. And whatever conversation can't be finished in here can be finished over lunch or at the reception. There you have it. There's our introduction. Let us begin.